Oh, y'all, I'm gonna record this one last time because I wasn't even recording the first time. How did that happen? I don't even know. Anyways, welcome back to Planet Expression. Just in case you forgot, you have a body, but you are not the body. You have a mind, but you are not the mind. You are spirit, and there is no need to fear it. I'm Expression. I'm simply here to express, nothing more, nothing less. Let's jump right into this week's topic, which is attention seeking society, or ASS. Okay. I didn't know that the acronym would be ASS until I looked at it carefully and I was like, oh, attention seeking society, ASS. Okay. This is ASS. But this topic was brought up through to many comments that I saw, correlating to basically like people doing any and everything for attention these days, and then also just like how social media is promoting this and so on and so forth. Okay, I'm pretty sure you guys have seen multiple comments under different videos as well, as far as like what people do for attention and like the society becoming more and more narcissistic by the day and so on and so forth. So many similar messages saying the same thing. And I'm personally someone that doesn't really take everything at face value because I feel like there's always more beneath the surface than what meets the eye, right? So you can call it the Scorpio in me if you're into astrology, but I always feel like there's a reason and there's more to it than just what we see, right? So in this video, I'm going to be breaking down the why, like why I feel this is happening or is happening in our society, who is responsible, if there's even just a one who or what, okay? And then third and last but not least, any final thoughts on what can be done. I have my handy dandy notebook, y'all, so if y'all see me looking down, it's just me looking at my notes because I really want to stay on track because I can easily just go off, okay? Go off track and shit. We wind up talking about clouds in the sky for all I know, all right? So let's not waste time. Let's get right into the first segment of it. So the why this is happening in our society, or why this is. Now, I personally feel that this is happening. In order to break down why, I feel like you have to look at how our society is built. Okay, I feel like we're about to go through the scientific method. No, but you have to look at how, like, look at our world as a whole, our global society. Okay, what is the what what is it built on? I'm from the US, I'm from America, so we all know that's capitalist central, okay? I mean, most of the world is based off of capitalism, but I mean, or like consumerism, I should say. But in the US, it's capitalism, right? So capitalism is all based off of profit. So we know that money is the defining line. But when you look at the global structure of things, that's really what it comes down to. That saying, money makes the world go around, that's basically another way of saying that's how the world is currently operating. Not saying every single person like you or every individual operates by that law or by that notion, because there are indigenous communities, they have their own way of operating. But for the mass majority, I would say about 90-95% of the world's population, that's how we are operating. Okay, and I say we because I'm a part of it. Okay, I'm born into it. All right, but the why this is happening is more based off of how our society is built. So money and survival, right? And this is coming down to human nature because we have equated money to survival, all right? And we know it is human instincts to survive, meaning you will do absolutely any and everything you need to do to ensure your survival, okay? So I want you to keep that in mind because that's really going to, I feel like, set the tone and be the foundation off of all of this survival, equating that to money, okay? Because you need money in our society. How it works, you need money in order to buy the food that you need, in order to have shelter, in order to take care of your essentials, okay, your essential human needs, all right? That correlates to money, and how you get money is your job and so on and so forth, okay? It's a pyramid, so to speak, okay? But the why this is happening is when you equate your survival to money. And as I said in the previous video, and I'm going to keep saying this, you guys are going to hear this multiple times, that money is not the most valuable currency. It's attention. Okay? I will always say it and I will keep saying it. Your attention. Okay? what you focus on, is the most valuable currency. All right. And I love to use this analogy because it just drives home the point, and I feel like it clicks for many people when I say it. That's why entertainers and people who are in the public eye, so to speak, like your favorite celebrities and so on and so forth, that's why they get paid as much money as they do versus doctors and people who are working on the back end. You don't really see them that much. You're not focused on them unless you have like an illness or something you need to go see them. But entertainers and people who are in the spotlight, the celebrities, that's why they get paid the most money, because they have more eyes on them. The more eyes you have on you, the more different brands and companies want to sponsor you and work with you because they can market and advertise through you. See what I'm saying? So the more eyes, that equates to more dollars, and the more dollars ensures your what? Survival. You see how this all links back and all is connected? That's why I say nothing to me is never like just surface level. I look at how things connect. Okay. I kind of have an investigator's kind of brain. Okay. Sometimes. Okay. But that's how I see it. I feel like this is all equating to survival. Now, here's where the split comes in, because there's a difference between survival and greed. Okay. Now, everyone needs the same essentials as human beings to survive, right? Food, water, shelter, all right? Need to be nourished and, just nurtured, right? But each person has their own set of goals as well. And I feel like the goals is where the greed comes in, right? Because you can have all your essentials taken care of, right? But many people have different aspire for different things and have different goals, which I feel like can cross over into greed, because now, excuse me, I have to accumulate like all of these resources, all of this money, da 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 da. So that means you're gonna do what? You're going to be more likely to do more in order to get more, right? You're gonna do the most, right? Are you following along? I hope you are, all right? So I promise I'm going somewhere, but I just really have to like give you guys the premise of how I'm coming to the conclusion and how I'm processing why we are in an attention seeking society. Okay, so I'm kind of giving some of the backstory and the foundation so you can see exactly how my thoughts are stemming out. Okay, so yeah, so basically based off of survival. Now, how this happens on a global scale is that, of course, each culture, we are all humans at the end of the day, whether you live in Russia, whether you live in the US, whether you live in Mexico, wherever you are on the planet, we all need these same essentials. Okay, it just may look different in how you go about getting it in different societies, but it all comes down to the same thing: money equaling survival. Okay, so the attention part comes in. As I said, attention is the true currency, not the money. You get paid the money for the attention that you're able to accumulate, or for the attention that you're able to capture, right? That's why, as I said, many of your famous celebrities and let's say like athletes and anyone that works in the entertainment industry of any sort, whether actors, musicians, athletes, so on and so forth, that's why they get paid these millions and millions of dollars, right? Because of the attention they're able to grab. Also, our society uh, values that values entertainment more than it values, in most cases, human life. And that's a bold statement, but it's just one that I personally observed, and one that I honestly feel confident in saying. Because when you think about it nowadays, think about it like someone is in help, like is in need, right? They need help. Like you can see someone on the street choking to death, right? What are most people going to do nowadays? Because we've seen it on the internet. They take out their phone and they do what? They record instead of actually trying to help the actual person. That's letting you know people care more about the views than they care about this person's life. Okay? Stick with me. All right? So that's what I'm saying. Like, entertainment, views, and a lot of times is seen as more valuable than human life. That's just what it is. Okay? That's a society that we're currently in. All right? Not everyone operates that way, but I'm saying the vast majority. All right, because at the end of the day, most people are just looking out for themselves. I'm going to keep saying not everybody because I don't want to just like say every single human is this way, because obviously that's not the case. But I feel 1,000% confident to say that it's more than half. So I'm going to say the majority, okay? About 60, 70%. Okay? Maybe even more. Let's be honest, okay? That's me being generous. But that's the why, okay? Now, who is responsible for this? Now, there isn't just a one person or one entity I feel responsible for this. I feel like this is a collective doing. So the who, I'm going to say all of us. Okay, I'm holding all of us accountable because it's I was brought up, with the saying, it takes two to tangle. Okay, it takes two to make a thing, all right. It takes two. It takes, anyways. It takes more than like one person is not able to do this. It takes a collective. It takes more than just one person in order to operate this. So I'm saying we are all responsible. And the reason why I'm saying it is because whether we know it or not, whether we are consciously aware of it or not, we have been fed the programming. Okay? We have been fed the programming. Um, as a collective, that this is how it operates. This is what we deem as valuable, and this is what we deem as invaluable. Because remember, I said money isn't the most valuable currency. It's your attention. But not only that, how we have money is an agreement. Okay. Now it's funny that I'm talking more about money than I am attention seeking society, but that's why this is happening, in my opinion. It's because of the money, and we say we equate money to what? Survival. But the only reason that money has been equated to survival is because we have made an agreement that, okay, we are going to exchange money for money is going to be used to exchange goods and services, right? Like we all agree that if I give you this dollar or I give you this amount of money, then I will receive this product or I will receive this service or whatever it is, correct? So being that we all have that agreement, we are all responsible because we all place value on that piece of paper saying this is worth this. But if we as a collective society were to agree on something else being the form of currency, then money would be irrelevant, right? But that's neither here or there. Many people have said this ahead of me, or like many people have said this throughout time. Like this is nothing new. Nothing that I'm saying is like new. Nothing's new under the sun ever. Okay, it's just repeated in a different form. All right. But the who is responsible, I feel like all of us, because we have collectively agreed to this. You know, now you can always disagree with something, but we know disagreement is met with resistance because this system has been set up for a while now. That's a whole nother story. That could be a whole nother topic. But who is responsible? I feel like we all are for the reasons I just gave. Okay. And any final thoughts? Oh, we're here already. Okay. But any final thoughts? I don't like to just like jibber jabber and just waste your time because your time is valuable. Okay. So I like to get straight to the point, get my thoughts out, and then just keep it moving. All right. Now, any final thoughts? Now, this is where I kind of got a bit not creative, but this is where I kind of went into a bit of psychology a little bit. Okay, even though I've never studied psychology, it's just something that interests me, and also because, ooh, thank you. That's why I'm talking about it. Okay, so I just had a brain little reminder because I put it in my brain to say this. There is so much money that is being invested by brands, corporations, in order to study the human brain, how the human brain works, and the psychology of it. Because once you can hack someone's psychology, you can basically get them to do any and everything that you want them to do. Okay, through manipulation, through subliminals. So many different tactics of manipulations is used, especially when it comes to marketing, because this is that's what a lot of this is for. It's about marketing. People are always selling you something, okay? Companies, of course, they are. I mean, they're companies, right? Corporations, they're marketing, they're selling you something. People are selling you things as well, okay? Everyday people. But if you are unconscious or unaware of the tactics that are used, then you're going to be susceptible to manipulation and so on and so forth. Now, I said that because this ties into my final thoughts on what I think can be done about this. Okay. Now I'm going to get back to that point in a second, but let me go on script. Okay. Now, my final thoughts on what can be done is getting people to reflect on why they are doing what they're doing may be beneficial. So, actually getting people to reflect and see exactly, wait, why am I doing this? Why am I seeking this attention or whatever? Like, do you have like a why? Like, if your why is something like, for example, well, I know that attention is beneficial and that it can equate to dollars, which can help me like survive in this world or whatever, then at least you're clear on your why. Like, okay, I'm seeking this attention because of da 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 da. But I feel like many people are unconscious as to why they're doing it. It's just like a program running in their mind. And they're just like, well, this is what everyone's doing. So and this is what's going to put more eyes on me, so I need to do this, and it's like it's directionless, it's meaningless, it's almost like I don't want to say a rebel without a cause, but it's like doing something without a cause, right? For example, I'm going to use me as an example because I'm the only example that I can use. Planet Expression and what I am doing, um, of course, I want attention. I would love attention for these videos, but it's like the reason I'm doing it is number one, to benefit myself, but also to benefit others. I want to spread information and I want to be a positive influence on others. That's my main intention, okay? To benefit myself, definitely. Hey, survival, human being. But also I want to make sure I'm giving back and I want to make sure I'm positively impacting and benefiting another from what I'm doing and I'm not taking. You feel me? So I'm clear on that, clear as day on that. But at the end of the day, this is social media and it is an intention game. You feel me? Now, there are certain things that I feel, at least for me and what I value, there's just certain things that I'm not willing to do for attention. You feel me? But everyone has their own different compass, their different moral compass, and so on and so forth. So, I'm not going to knock anyone because I always say nothing human can be foreign to me. Whatever, I think Maya Angelou said that, if I'm not mistaken, because I want to give credit where credit's due. But nothing human can be foreign to anyone. If you're human, anything that any other human being is capable of doing, you are too. Okay, so I'm not quick to cast a stone because I'm like, wait. If I were in their situation and I had their same thought process and their same life experiences and if I were in their shoes, I would probably be operating the exact same way. So I do my best not to knock anybody because it's like I point a finger at you, eight pointing right back at me. Okay, so let me just put that out there. Moving on to the next one. I feel like, oh, this ties into what I just said, getting people to reflect on why they're doing what they're doing because it gives them more control. It gives them more control over why they're doing what they're doing. And also, I feel like it gives them more of a sense of, oh, hold on, my leg went to sleep, y'all. My bottle. Yeah, it gives people a better sense of control and also a better sense of clarity or understanding as to what they're doing and why they're doing it. For example, when it comes to YouTube wants you to use different thumbnails in order to capture people's attention. You have to capture their attention ASAP so they feel compelled to click on your video. Clickbait. I typically don't do customized thumbnails and stuff like that, even though I know that that would bring in more views, right? Because you want people to people have thousands, millions of videos that they can choose, right? And you want them to choose your video. So many people go to use extreme thumbnails. This is what clickbaiting is, right? Clickbaiting is sometimes using a false image that will capture people's attention to bring them in so that they can view whatever it is you got going on. All right. It's all about getting eyes on you. But for me, I value minimalism. That's one of my core values, minimalism, doing less with more, right? So my thumbnails, I do my best to keep them as original as possible. It's literally just a clip of the video. I don't try to add in things that are not in the video. It's just a regular snapshot of a certain part in my video and I just leave it at that. And whoever is meant to view it is going to view it. Now, obviously from a business standpoint and from a professional YouTuber standpoint, that is not the smartest way to go. You should definitely do thumbnails and all that. But hey, as I evolve, the thumbnails may change, but it is my intention to keep it as original and as authentic as possible. And nothing like outrageous. You feel me? But the last point that I have that ties back into what I was saying about manipulation and psychology. Now, this is what I think that would probably work and it would be beneficial, but you may not like the tactic because it involves mass manipulation. Okay. So this is my final thought on what can be done. Mass manipulation. What do I mean by that? Get people to seek attention because people are going to do it regardless. At this point, I feel get people to seek attention for the right things, quote unquote. Okay. Or something that will benefit themselves as well as society as a whole. Okay. Which will inspire others to do the same because it will create a domino effect. So my thought process when it comes to this is like I started thinking about like um not a carrot on a treadmill, but when somebody like a donut or a burger, when someone's dangling like a treat at the end of a treadmill. But in order for the person to get that treat, they have to run on the treadmill so that they can become healthier or whatever, right? It's giving that. So it's like mass manipulation, but for a positive outcome, okay, or for a more desirable outcome. Because positive and negative, that's a whole nother story that we can get into. But for a more desirable outcome, I feel like mass manipulation would have to be the strategy used at this point in time. Okay. Now I say that because if you know that people are going to seek attention and it's very unlikely or highly unlikely for people to just stop doing that, which I feel we are at that point, then I feel that people will still want that reward of getting attention or let's just say validation, but let's give them validation for something that's actually uplifting or something that's actually inspiring or something that's actually helping. So for example, let's say someone was receiving a lot of attention because they were helping people who were illiterate to read or whatever, and they receive massive amounts of attention for that. Other people are going to naturally want that same attention. So what they're going to do, even I know it sucks because they may not be doing it for the right reasons. They're doing it for the attention. But like I said, at this point, it's kind of like, okay, I know that you're doing it for the attention, but at least it's going to benefit someone else. Yes, you're going to benefit off of it because of the attention you're getting and maybe like the sponsorships and people wanting to work with you are, wanting to be like you, whatever the case is. Yes, you may get it. You may get that, but at least the people that you're actually teaching to read or whatever, they're going to be benefiting from it as well. And it's going to make their life better. So you see what I'm saying? It's almost like it's not the best way to go about it, but sometimes I feel like you have to read the situation and see exactly how you can get the desired outcome in the most um appropriate way, okay? Because I feel like this would actually be appropriate for where we currently are right now. If there's another way, please let me know. I'm pretty sure there is another way, but as far as my thought process and how I'm thinking mass manipulation for a positive outcome or I keep saying positive, for a desirable outcome would probably be the best strategy because we're already doing it now, but it's doing it for a less desirable outcome. So you might as well use the same strategy for a desirable outcome and one that's going to not only benefit you as an individual, but benefit the masses as well. Because when you benefit another, you internally, not inter- well, you internally, you benefit yourself as well. Okay. Like it's that law. What you do for another, you do for yourself. When you harm another, you harm yourself. All right. Because it goes back to the first spiritual law, which is the law of oneness. Okay. There is no division between you and I. What you do to me is going to come right back to you. And what I do to you is going to come right back to me. Okay. As people call it karma. It's how it works. It's balance. Okay. So if you benefit another, you indirectly many times benefit yourself, right? Because there's an ebb and flow to life, right? So, for example, let's say you're doing really good now, right? And you're able to help a lot of people now because you're up. You help those people when you're up, and like what goes up inevitably has to come down. It's just a balance, right? So let's say on your way down, there's a saying that says, the same people you see going up, you're going to meet coming down, or something like that. I don't remember the exact saying, but it's kind of like that. Okay. So, like, let's say you are here at the top and you have the ability to help people, and you actually help people. Let's say something happens, you fall on a misfortune, or something happens and now you're plummeting down. Those same people that you were able to help when you were up, they can actually help raise you up again. And that's how you help yourself, because you help those people when you were in a position to do so. And now that you are no longer in a position to do so, those people that you actually helped, you help to elevate them, which means they in turn can help uplift you if or when you plummet, because it's an ebb and flow to life. You see what I'm saying? So that's just like a breakdown of how helping another, you actually help yourself. Many times you don't see it right then and there. Life happens, time goes on. But as time goes on, you see how, wait, the same thing I did to help this person, now they're actually in a position, or in a, they have the power to actually help me, you know? And not saying, like, we're not saying to do things just to help you, but that's just me trying to explain how it works, but yeah, that is my take on what I think that can be done at this current point in time. Obviously, there's other ways or other methods that can be used, but I didn't really sit long enough to think about them. I just feel like this one is more interesting, and I feel like we can use the exact same strategy that we're using now, but just redirect the aim or the focus to actually be a desirable outcome for everybody. Okay, because everything you do, I feel it should benefit you, but it also should benefit others. Okay, I feel like there's that balance between, you can say, selfishness, because I do believe all humans without exception are inherently selfish. That's just what it is. So I feel like that benefiting you is the selfish part being taken care of, but also I feel like the selfless part is actually benefiting another and helping them. So it's kind of like a balance between, yes, being selfish, I need to get what I need in order to survive, but also I'm giving back and making sure that I'm planting positive seeds to grow for another as well. See what I'm saying? So it's like the give and take, the balance, the yin and yang. I do my best to live my life by that. I don't always get it right, but hey, I'm trying. But yes, that is my thought on attention seeking society. Of course, there's more that I can say, but I think I'm going to leave it there because I feel like the main point has been spoken. Okay. And yeah, if you guys have any ideas or any thoughts on this, definitely comment below. Let me see what you guys are thinking about this, and also your thought process on why you think we are in an attention seeking society, so on and so forth. And how you would deal with just balancing this out, because I don't think it's going to stop anytime soon. If anything, being that we're moving into a digital era, I feel like it's going to be ramping up even more. So that's why I'm like, okay, if I know it's going to continue, then we have to find a way to make this benefit everyone, not only yourself, right? So yeah, definitely let me know what you think in the comments below. And also, if you haven't already, if you are not a citizen of Planet Expression already, all you gotta do is hit that subscribe button and you will be officially an expressionist. Okay, that's what I'm gonna call y'all here on Planet Expression, my expressionist. Okay, you will become an expressionist, a certified citizen here on Planet Expression, and I am more than happy to have you here. So until next time, I'll see you guys later, and thanks for watching.